Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I wanted to show you the 4 cards / project that we did in the Lucky Hand event last night and yesterday afternoon. So each lady signed up and we had a session in the afternoon and the evening, and we made some fun projects using the Just Wanted to Say dies. Now everyone got one of these padded envelopes, and when they opened it up, they had their lucky hand. Oh, we have some other funsies in here too. They had their lucky hand inside their bag. You can see the card. It's actual real deck of playing cards that they played the game with. And then inside this bag, they had their projects, and it had a fun little tag from a retired set called Game On that I'm so glad I never got rid of. It had cards in it and chess pieces. So let's take a look at the projects we made. The first one we did was using the Feel Better Soon from the Just Wanted to Say dies. You'll find those in the back of the Stampin' Up 2023-24 catalog. They're a standalone dies. They're not bundled with a stamp set or an embossing folder or anything. I love them because they are all you need to make a beautiful card. So on this card, they got this kit, and inside the kit they had all the pieces already ready for them with their ribbon. So they had their ribbon there. So we just played along, and I'm going to show you what we did here. So this card uses all the dies, and this I have a video on how to actually make this card, but it's just a 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and again at 2 1/8, and then you fold it over. And then I put a pretty piece of the Delightfully Eclectic paper. Has almost every color you can imagine in here. We've got Fresh Freesia, Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, and Garden Green, and Night of Navy. So I pulled out the Calypso Coral for the card base. This is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. All the measurements will be on my blog post and underneath the YouTube description. And then we just put a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 piece of white in the inside. They did not even have to stamp in this event. And then I used the deckled rectangles to make a panel there that I put a white on, and that white was embossed with those 3D embossing folders that are on the online exclusives though. So you have to log into Stampin' Up and you'll see online exclusives, and that's where you'll find these 3 embossing folders. A crosshatch one, polka dots, and also another geometric one, but they are so fun. I love this crosshatched one. So then they applied glue to the back of their white, adhered it to the Calypso, and then I had them just put dimensionals on the corners here because we ran a ribbon to hold this card closed. We ran a ribbon around it. Some of these kits are still going out to people, so I'm not putting them to actual together, but you'll have all the photos. And then we just put the dimensionals underneath these 2 corners so that you could tie the card together. And then we simply used the shadow part of the Feel Better in Calypso, and then we glued the Feel Better Soon, which was navy, and we just glued that on there, and then we popped it up off the card to give it a more dimension. And then there's a cute little posy that's in the Wanted to Say dies. So I took a little piece of Calypso Coral so that we had a center for our flower, and then I said to the ladies, you can either use this stem, which is adorable to go, and you could have an actual flower off to the side there, or you could just take and cut these little leaves off and tuck them under your posy after you put a dimensional underneath it. So that was one of the fun cards. Nobody had any ink on their fingers, so we didn't smudge up our white, but that is the first card we made together after we played our first round of Lucky Hand, which one of the prizes that was won in that first is an adhesive bundle. So I had an adhesive bundle with all the adhesives like foam, strips, and glue, and tear and tape, and dimensionals, and glue dots. So that was a fun prize to win. So that was our first card. And let me show you our next one. Okay, I just want to pop this back in here for the person who wasn't able to attend last night. So that was card number 1. our second card was this fun quilted one. So I'm going to show you how to put this together because it was a tiny bit tricky for a few of the ladies because of the piece here. Now this actually is from the Patchwork Pieces dies. You get 2 different dies in that set. You get this quilted kind of starburst, sunburst pattern, and then this wavy one, which I just keep knowing whenever I come up with a fun idea for that. I can't wait to do that. So what I did is I took this die and I cut out on a piece of DSP from the Countryside Inn DSP. I cut out one, and then I also cut out one with the boho blue. And then I just mixed and matched them, did 2 at a time. And so the girls would open up that kit and they had, oop, I just lost a letter down here. You don't want to lose that. Okay, so they used the second sentiment in that set, and that set was You're Too Kind. So of course I used my paper wisely and I cut out the shadow in navy, and then you just pop on. I'm going to pull these little guys here, see where my other words are. They might still be in here. Oh, they are. There we go. So they just adhered the You're Too Kind to their shadow there, and then that became the sentiment that was popped up on this card. Now what I'm going to show you is once we got this all put together, then we put it on this bordering piece of navy there and just made a nice simple card. Now I'm going to pop those back in the bag so that they do not get lost. Now I'm going to show you how to use those patchwork quilt dies, okay? So these were the, like I said, you have half of them are the DSP and half of them are the boho blue cardstock. So the first thing you want to do is turn them over so you're seeing what's called the bad side, okay? So just make sure that the good side has this nice stitching, and on the back it's kind of rough, okay? So you're making sure that you're using all of the bad sides, okay? This is the good side with that nice stitching there, and this is the bad side, okay? So it's easy to do with the DSP because the DSP is just, the bad side is the dark side, okay? So you have all of these pieces. So you can do this with any designer series paper. You could do it with 2 different pieces of different colored pieces. Whatever you do, the first thing I find the easiest to do is find all of my pieces that have this little corner on it, okay? Because when you put this together, each corner has this little right square 90-degree angle there. So find those pieces first. Here's one, there's one, here's another one that has that, and then here is another one that has that. So I start with those 4 first, okay? So then what you're going to do is realize those are going to be your corners, okay? So that's a corner, and then I'm just going to, if you're doing alternating colors, if you're just doing one DSP, you would just turn it and it's all the same color of DSP. But just look at it this way. You're going to put one corner up here, one corner down here. Now that's going to be the basis of your rectangle. The 2 cardstock ones are there. Now you're going to make an X and you're going to put the other corner down here and the other corner up there. So see how that goes together. So you're using the DSP going down one way and you're using the cardstock going the other way. And it just happens to be the way this card is done, okay? Corner, 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 corner. So now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your bigger rectangles, okay? You're going to take a DSP one and a cardstock one. You're going to take your 2 big triangles as opposed to a little triangle. So these big triangles are going to go together to make So it's almost like a geometry class. These right triangles are going to make an equilateral triangle with all three sides. Now, what you're going to do to put this on is you want it to be alternating. The big triangles go on the left side and the right side, but you want them to alternate, okay? So to get this side over here, you're also going to take your two big right triangles. Here we go. And you can see that those are the rough sides, and they are going to go on this side. So these two right big triangles make an equilateral triangle with all three sides the same, and that pops into this side. So now you can start seeing how they kind of just go opposite each other. Now these two, the top and the bottom, are put together with the small right triangles. Once again, and if you want to, you could be taping these together, but we're gonna do the taping at the end with Scotch tape, but that might be an easy way to do that. So here, these little triangles, now we want them to go here because this is gonna alternate the colors there. And then your very last one are your last two little triangles that make a three-sided equal sides, and it's just going to fit in there. So I would say that what we could do is now we're going to put this together. I'm just using good old Scotch tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape together my little triangles. Okay, so there's my little triangles. I'm going to get another little piece of tape here. I'm going to put together these two little triangles. Just butt them up against each other, making sure they're, and we'll put that there. Now let's take these two. This might have been an easier way to do this in our, because I was just putting it together, but if they had seen me tape them this way, we have these two big triangles. And then we're gonna tape these two together. Okay. And then we're just going to attach them to the corners. So here's a corner. So it's really simple to tape them together. They just go right against each other. They just butt right up against each other. But you want to make sure when you're putting these together, a couple girls were trying to put these together to make a square. They do not make a square. They make a triangle. Now, I'm seeing that this triangle is a little bit off here. So I just want to butt it right, there we go. Okay, now this next corner goes in here, just looking at the bottom. Okay. So once again, just taking a look at this. When you go to put this together, get your corners first. Or you could just put together your triangles first, and then the corners fit in really nicely because you're going to see the two big triangles are on the left and the right. The two little triangles go together on the top and the bottom. Now we're just lining this up down here. So I guess as you do this, each time you do something like this, because this is a really cool die, you'll think of different ways. Like maybe the quickest way to do it is to make two big triangles and two small triangles, and then put them that way, then slide the corners in. So whichever way works easiest for you. As you see, it just takes a couple seconds, but it is well worth the effort when you're done. And then we just put that together and then take a look at that, how cute it is. And then we just mounted it on a piece of navy, as I said, and I think it was 3/8 by 4 7/8, and I just mounted that on there. And then I put the You're Too Kind right over that little circle that shows. I just put that right across there. This card is got a visual appeal to it that if you don't put ribbon or embellishments on, you're still wowed by it because of the piecing of the paper together to make that quilt pattern and the stitching. So you wouldn't even have to put anything on here, but I'm sure a lot of people could figure out how to weave a piece of ribbon under it or put a couple white pearls on there. But that is how fun that card was. Super simple, but I think it was the one that a couple people were struggling with a little bit. So that is card number 2. So 2 of the sentiments: feel better soon, you're too kind. And then we made this terrific little box. Now this box comes, they are called the Scalloped gift card boxes. See that cute little scallop here? I used some retired ribbon on this. This is from when Berry Burst was an in color and we had the silver on it. And I took that silver and put rhinestones, and I used the back of the gold celebrations paper. So let me show you how that box is, okay? So this cute box actually fits nice and tight, but I wanted to keep those scallops on the outside of that. So that is why I put that cute little ribbon in there. And because our bright and beautiful DSP has all these fun colors in it, I just layered them, and I used that pretty ribbon. Like I said, you might still have this in your stash. And here we go. Let's get all these pieces out. And the neat thing about these gift card boxes, it has this simple little folded piece that you stick your gift card right in these little slots here, and then you just lay it in there, and so the gift card is elevated when the person opens it up. So I'm actually going to show you that, even though, look, I want you to admire that cute little bow. Sweet little bow there. Ta-da! You open it up, and your recipient, now notice how this is ribbon is free flowing. I'm going to show you how to do that. And you open it up, and I had some leftover shreddy that was in Berry Burst, and silver and white was perfect. And you just put your little gift card in there, and it just slips in those sides. This is very reasonable, these gift card holders. And now whenever you feel like you kind of chickened out and just went the easy route and got somebody a gift card, now you can say, I wrapped it up really pretty. So what I did for that, as you can see here, I'm just going to leave this here for you to see. I just started out with the returning blueberry bushel, and I'll have the measurements for this. And then I put the ribbon through. Okay. So I put the ribbon through because I knew, I mean, you don't have to put it through here, but I put it through this layer here. And then I popped up this Berry Burst on dimensionals so the ribbon could move through on the top. Then I used a piece of lemon lime twist, also a returning color, and this piece only had this border on the top and the bottom so that you had the blueberry bushel going the whole way around there. So that was our next layer. The next layer, I put the designer series paper, and look how pretty all those bright colors just pop out at you. Now what I did with this next step is this paper, the gold celebrations paper, it has these gold streamers I thought were perfect for a birthday, but if you turn it over, it's silver. So I thought with the silver in my ribbon, now if you had a ribbon that had gold in it, you would just leave that gold because the gold looks really fantastic, as I'll show you on our next project. But I wanted to put that on there with the silver so I could complement the card with silver, silver, and then the silver shreddy inside. So a little trick for doing that is I put dimensionals on the back of the shadow that was white. And then I adhered it to my acetate because we don't want to see anything coming through that acetate. Once I had that on there, I just came back, I put a little bit of glue, or you could use your tape runner, but you just put it where the white is so you're not going to see it through the acetate. Then you apply it down onto the top of the card. And then we just put the happy birthday, which is the third sentiment from the wanted to say dies that we used. So we made this, and then I just mounted that all on the top of the box and then tied that cute little bow on it. All the measurements to make this, to have the nice white border around the box, are underneath the YouTube description, but also over on my blog if you'd like to see additional photos. So that was our, now let me just stick that stuff back in here because I don't want to mess up and forget any pieces, because my poor friend Charlene got her bag and I forgot to put the box in. So she was missing her box. So that went out in the mail today. So that was our third one. So you've got happy birthday. You've got the you're too kind. You've got the feel better soon. So 3 projects we did. Now the next one we did is an easel card, but it's not this one. I just wanted to show you how pretty this was using those bright colors and using that bright and beautiful DSP and the gold celebrations, because I used the streamers on the birthday box. On this card, this was a post that I had, a video that I had, I think a couple weeks ago, was a cute easel card using the 4th sentiment die that's in there. But what we did is we made a card that's going to be a classy one. This one could end up being a wedding card. I hope we have enough light here. Could be a wedding card, graduation card. I'm going to make it into a New Year's Eve card. Now, the reason why the front isn't done on here is because I messed up on my acetate. But what I'm gonna do is use glue dots to put the acetate down on here. And once again, all the measurements are going to be on my blog. So I'm gonna push this to the side and I'm going to show you all the pieces that they got in their kit. So they had this fun foil that I cut the word out of there. Now, if you've ever had trouble with foil, being the, sorry about that, the camera moved. If you've ever had trouble with getting glue, getting lines when you're die cutting gold, I just decided for the rest of my life, I'm going to make my foils embossed, because when you emboss, it covers up a multitude of problems that happen to the foil. No matter what, I get fingerprints, I get glue. So I just ran these through with that really cool embossing folder that has the cross hatching in it. So once I cut the gold out with the Celebrate, and then I added, now where is our little black words? They're here somewhere. I had them add. Now the reason why I package things with a piece of copy paper in them is this black could rub off onto the white. So I put it in between when I package my kits, because I don't want you to have black rubbed on your white. You might want to also do that when you're mailing cards to people as well. So you took this easel card here, and this is where the easel ends up happening. So that's just the same as this card was, okay? You just score an 8.5 at 4 1/4. This is 5 1/2, fits in an A2 size envelope, and 2 1/8 here. And then you're gonna have an easel like this. So there you go. So what I had them do is adhere this white to the gold. Then they put dimensionals on the back of it. And then they just lined it up on the bottom of the card. And as you can see here, it's raised up with dimensionals. So I have dimensionals underneath the gold so that it has something to butt up against to make the easel. Then I had them put their Celebrate, applied that to the gold, and then stuck it on there. And then here is where some fun happened here. I want to put this piece here so I don't mess up this kit. There we go. Okay. So I really wanted to put this black, this white, but I mean the gold to really pop. So I put it under black. Okay, so the way to easily do that and see how that really pops off of there, I'm gonna put it like that. Okay, I'm going to put glue dots scattered around where that silver is. So I'm just going to open up my glue dots, and I'm just going to get some glue dots right behind some random places on these. Maybe one down here. Super easy to do. One, two, okay, let's put one up here. And that's why I picked this. That's why I picked the circles, because the mini glue dots fit perfectly, and then you don't see anything. If you're not going to use glue dots, take your glue and make a tiny little dot, and then let it kind of get tacky, and then apply it to your black. Because when you apply it to the black, then you won't have any smearing of glue. So there we go. And I'll put that right on there, and look how fun that is with that gold popping off the black. Gold Celebrations has the streamers, the confetti with stars, and also these dots. So my next thing was to just take and make a gold, and what I did is in their kits, they were layered with gold, black, and white. Okay, now as I told you, I gave everybody the white, and the only stamping they had to do is if they decided that they wanted to make this an anniversary card, a wedding card. My idea was to make it into a New Year's card. So before I started this video, I put some glue on the back of some letters from the alphabet a la mode, because then it'd be easier to put them on here. And I'm going to put 2024 Celebrate. So this would be a great New Year's Eve card. Now there, I've got a piece of glue there. Let me see, let's get this too. Isn't it weird to think 2024 is coming? Remember when we thought 2020 would never be over? Okay, I see I have a little bit of glue there. Okay, 20, and the 4. There we go. And then I will just pick off. You could actually stamp letters on there if you have 2024, but like I said, isn't that just a fantastic New Year's card to send to somebody? 2024, that's the alphabet a la mode dies, nice and skinny, that fit on there. So you've got the Celebrate used for an easel card, so they made that one. And the Happy Birthday box, the You're Too Kind card, and the Feel Better Soon. All of these cards, no stamping, all die cutting with the Wanted to Say dies. So we had a fun time putting these together, and now you saw what we did. So next time I have a lucky hand, sign up, because you'll get to play games, win some prizes. We had door prizes, we had big prizes, and you'll get to make usually 3 to 4 cards when I play the game. And it only costed $40 order. So that $40 order got you a seat at the table, and then you made these 4 cards, and we had a really good time. And I thank everybody who participated, and I'm hoping that our next lucky hand is as successful as this. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.